Okay. Okay.
First, the product owner is going to bring the requirements and new ideas for us.
Okay.
Then the business analyst will do analysis, will do a clear and exact requirements what we need.
Okay.
Then the designing people, developers.
No. That is STLC. I'm asking STLC. Software testing lifecycle.
Okay. First, the requirement analysis. The test engineer will go through the requirements clearly given by the business analyst.
Okay.
Then the test lead will prepare the test plan for all the functionalities to be done in that release.
Okay.
Next, the test cases are being developed by the individual test engineers.
Okay.
Those test cases will be executed. Then we compare the result, that actual result and the expected results are the same or not.
Okay.
In result analysis.
Okay.
Next, in defect tracking, we'll track whether any defects are there in this given application or given release for us. Then after, if any defects, we'll report it to the developers. Next, at last, we'll do the test deliverables. That means we'll prepare a complete report.
Okay.
About.
Okay, fine. Thank you. So now there are test deliverables. So what are test deliverables? So we are having some test deliverables which are called RTM. RTM is nothing but requirement traceability matrix. What is that? RTM means requirement traceability matrix. So it is a matrix. Okay. So I will explain all those test deliverables at the end. Okay. So I will share the documents as well as I will explain you. Okay. Fine. So now we will look into next. So STLC, software testing lifecycle, is very clear to everyone, right?
Yes.
Sir.
Yeah. Okay, very good. So now we are going to look into another life cycle that is called defect life cycle. What is the other concept?
Defect life cycle.
Okay. So now we are going to look. We know what is defect. Ashwini, what is defect?
Defect is the result which will not match with customer's requirement.
Okay. So whenever something is not matching to customer's requirement, okay, then what we will do, we'll create a defect. Okay.
Yeah.
So now we are going to look into defect life cycle. What is this? Defect life cycle. Okay. So in defect life cycle, the whole process of defect life cycle. Okay. So now I will just explain you and then I will show you the flow. So first you found a defect. Then what we will do, we'll create a defect. What we will do, we'll create a defect. Then after creating the defect, who is going to fix the defect? Developers. Very good. Do you know which developer? Because in your team, there are multiple developers. Do you know which developer will fix that?
No.
We don't know, right? Because there are so many developers in our team. Who is free to fix the defect? We don't know. So what we do, whenever we create a defect, we will assign the defect to the manager or test lead or development lead. Okay. So whenever we create a defect, we will assign the defect not directly to the developer. We will assign the defect to the manager or test lead or development lead. Okay. So we will tell that after creating the defect, we will assign to development lead or manager. Okay. You can tell anything. Okay. So now, whenever we create a defect, what is the status of the defect? What is the status? Whenever we create something newly, the status of the defect will be new. What? New. So what is the status?
So it's new.
Status means you all know, right? What is the status mean? What is the position of the defect? What is the condition of the defect? status. Okay. So for example, whenever you place an online order, if somebody asks what is the status of your order, then you will say it is in shipping or in packing. Yes or no? That is the status, means what is the current situation of that order. In the same way, when I say defect status, we are talking about what is the current situation of the defect. So whenever we create a defect, by default, the status will be as new. What status will be by default when you create a defect?
New.
New. Okay. So now, how we are creating the defect? We are talking like creation of defect. We know how to identify defect. So whenever we are doing some testing on application, if something is not matching to our requirement, we'll create a defect. How we are creating the defect? So we are using a tool called Jira. What?
Jira.
Using the tool Jira, we are creating the defect. Okay. Divya, you raised your hand?
Yeah, sir. Are you sharing the screen, sir?
Yes. Is not visible to everyone?
It's visible.
No, actually, I got some in Zoom. I got some problems, so I joined from browser. It's not showing anything to me. That's why, sir. I will join from my mobile, sir. I'll leave from this and I'll join.
Yeah. Okay. No problem. So everyone are able to see my screen, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Fine. So now, which tool we are going to use to create a defect?
Jira.
So Jira. Okay. So there is some other tools in the market like HPALM, Application Life Management, Jira. So these are all called test management tools. What are these?
Test management tools.
Okay. So every company use different tools. So you will tell you are having experience using Jira. What tool?
Jira.
Jira. So that is easy to create. Don't worry. Okay. So there will be a button called create defect. When you click on create defect, it will give you a screen where you have to enter the details of the defect and click on submit. Okay. Fine. So now when you create a defect, the status of the defect initially will be new. Then to whom you will assigning the defect?
Manager.
You will assign. You will all tell. I will assign my defect to the manager or test lead. Anything. Okay.
Okay.
Now, after assigning to the manager, he will receive an email like Shravanti has created a new defect. Then what manager will do? He will open the defect and see. Yes or no?
Yes.
So now, when he open the defect, first what he will do? He will check whether the defect is a valid defect or not. Because sometimes you may have some misunderstanding. You may create a wrong defect also. Yes or no? For example, the requirement of the customer is he wants 2 + 2 as 3. You thought, no, it is a common sense. It should be 2 + 2 is equal to 4. You created a defect. Now your manager is going through that. Because it is clear that the customer requirement is 2 + 2 is equal to 3 he wants. But you created 2 + 2 is equal to 4. So it is a defect or not?
No, if requirement is 2 + 2 = 3, there is no defect.
There is no defect. Then what manager will do? Will he accept the defect?
No.
No, he will not accept the defect, right? Because it is as per the requirement. Okay. So what he will do? So he will be rejecting the defect. He will not accept. What he will do? He will reject the defect. So whenever they receive the defect, first step what they will do is they will check whether this defect is valid or not. Then they will reject the defect. Okay. Clear? Then assume the defect is valid. The defect is valid because the requirement is 2 + 2 is equal to 4, but the developer has developed 2 + 2 is equal to 3. So the manager understood that. See how he understood by seeing the defect, because you are mentioning the clear details, clear steps, clear screenshot of the issue. or video of the recording, you will be adding that in the defect clearly. Okay. See, the manager or the test lead or development lead is not going to test again. He will be seeing your evidence, what you have attached. He's going to go through the steps, what you have mentioned there. Okay. By seeing that steps or proof, because you have to attach the proof. If you don't attach the proof, it might be not working now, but later on it might be working. Then they will ask, hey, Anis, it is working. Why you created a defect? So for each and every action, you have to take a proof screenshot for your safety. Okay, clear? So when you are creating a defect, you have to mention clearly the steps how to reproduce the same defect. Because the developers also, when they start working on the defect, they will follow the steps and then they will try to reproduce the defect by following the steps. If you don't mention the steps clearly, then they can't reproduce the same defect. Okay, so it is very, very important to mention the steps very clearly along with the screenshots and the videos if possible. So now the manager is looking into the defect. He has gone through each and every step, and then he understood that the defect is a valid. Now, when he knows that the defect is valid, he wants to check whether this defect is going to fix in this release or in the next release. Okay. So he's going to check if the defect is going to be released in this release or next release. Assume if the defect is going to release, this is a valid defect, but this is not going to release in this release, but it is going to release in next release. In that case, he will mark the status as deferred. What he is going to change the status of the defect?
Deferred.
So now what is the current status of the defect?
Deferred.
He has not changed. Then what is the status of the defect?
Yeah, it is deferred.
Deferred.
No, see, before deferred, what is the status?
Before it is
There is
New.
New.
Farhana, what is the status?
there was a scope.
No. Before
No,
status.
before the status was rejected.
See, when it is rejected, he will not look into other status, other conditions.
Yes.
So what is the status before rejected? So whenever you create a defect, the status will be always defaultly new. What?
New.
The status will be new. Okay.
New.
Then he will check whether this is a valid defect or not. If it is a valid, then only he will check this is in scope or out of scope. Okay. If it is not valid, then he will reject. Then it is stopped here only. The flow is stopped here only. He will not go and check whether it is valid or not because this is rejected. Clear? So whenever the managers think that this is a valid defect, then only he will check whether this defect is in scope or out of scope. So when somebody is telling in scope means that defect belongs to this release or next release. When he thinks that this defect belongs to next release means out of scope, then he will make the status as deferred. The status deferred means it is a valid defect, but they are not going to fix that now. They are going to fix that later. Is that clear? The status deferred.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So Farhana, what is the status rejected means?
If it is not a valid.
Exactly. So if the defect is rejected, will the manager check whether it is in scope or out of scope? Will he check or not?
no.
Yes,
No, he will not check because it is not a valid defect. Then why he will check whether it is in scope or out of scope? If it is not a valid defect, the flow stops here only. The defect is rejected. That's it. The defect is no more. Is that clear?
Yes.
If the defect is not rejected, means the defect is a valid defect, then only he will check this condition. Okay. So this is the flow. See? So it is created the defect. It is new. You assign to the manager. Then the manager check it is valid. If it is valid means yes, then only he will check this condition. If it is no, then it is status is rejected means the defect is ended there, then and there. Is that clear? If the defect is valid, then only he will come and check whether it is in scope or out of scope. If it is out of scope, then the status is deferred, means they are going to stop the defect then and there. There will be no more. There will be no more spending time on the defect. Okay. Assume if the defect is in scope, means the defect has to be fixed in this release. Then the manager will check if the defect is already created by some other tester or not, because he know about all the defects which are created. So he will just have a look if some other, assume sometimes one tester has created a defect, the same defect might be created by some other tester also, because he also came across the same defect. It might be possible, right? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. In that case, because all the defects are assigned to the manager, he will know whether some other defect is created, similar defect is created or not. So what he will do, whenever he thinks that the defect is valid and the defect is in scope, then he will check if the defect is already created or not. Assume if he thinks that if the defect is already created, then he will make the defect as duplicate. Yes or no? When the defect is duplicate, the defect is stopped then and there, because it is a duplicate defect. So the flow of the defect ends there. Is that clear? So the defect, initially the defect will be new. Then the manager will look into the defect, whether it is a valid defect or not. If it is not a valid defect, then he will reject the defect. If the defect is valid, then he will check whether the defect is in scope or out of scope. Whether the defect in scope means whether the defect has to fix in this release or in next release. If the defect has to fix in this release, then he will check whether the defect is created by some other tester already. Or sometimes what happens when sometimes developers also will create the defect. When they are developing, they also found that it is an issue in the sanity testing, then they create a defect. Okay. So if the manager feels that it is a duplicate defect, then he will change the defect status from new to duplicate. Is that clear till here?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Shravanti, can you tell the flow till here?
Sir,
Can you tell the flow till here? What happens?
we tester whenever the tester finds the defect, the status will be new.
Very good.
Then it sends to the manager to check if it is. Then the manager checks if it is valid or not.
Mhm.
If it is valid, it goes to the in scope,
Very good.
or else it goes to the status rejected.
Uh-huh.
Then the manager checks if it is in scope or not. If it is not in scope, it goes to the deferred status, goes to the deferred.
Very good.
If the defect is in scope, he checks if it is already raised or not. If it
Very
is
good.
already raised, it will be the status goes to rejected.
Super, super. Fine. Farhana, can you explain the flow till here?
Yes. Once the test, once there is a defect,
Mhm.
when the tester finds the defect, the
Mhm.
status goes to the new.
Very good.
Once if it is new,
Mhm.
I mean like new, the manager or the project manager will analyze the defect. If there are two ways. If there is a defect is valid, then it goes into the in scope. If the defect is not valid, means like if there is if not valid, then its status will go to rejected. If it is in scope, there are two ways. If it has to be released later, then it will goes to the status deferred. It has to be released, then it will goes to the already raised. It is
Okay.
already raised.
Mhm.
Then once it is already raised, there will be two ways.
Okay.
Then the status, if it is already raised by any other tester or anything, then the status will go to the duplicate.
See, status will not go. Status will be changed. Okay.
Okay.
Status will be changed. Who is changing?
Manager.
Farhana, who is changing the status?
The project manager.
Because he is looking into the defect. Okay.
Yes.
Why that manager is looking into the defect? Ashwini, why the manager is looking into the defect?
Because the tester has raised or finds the defects and he has reported it.
Exactly, because the tester found the defect and assigned the defect to the manager. Okay, there will be a field to whom you are sending this defect. Okay, so I will give my manager name. So he will receive an email that Anis has created a defect. Then he will open the defect and he will check whether the defect is a valid defect or not. Okay, so you have to mention that he will check. Okay, once he is checking if the defect is valid or not. If the defect is not valid, then he will reject the defect. If the defect is valid, then again he will check if the defect is in scope or out of scope. Okay, so if the defect is out of scope, then he will change the status from new to deferred. If the defect is in scope, then he will again check if the defect is duplicate or not. Means if the defect is already created by someone, if the defect is already created by someone, then he will change the status from new to duplicate. If the defect is not created by anyone, then then he will assign the defect to the developer because they have to fix the defect. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fine. So Farhana, what is in scope means?
In scope is that if it is raised, I mean, like if it is already been, no.
Sojina, what is in scope?
Whether the defect should be fixed in this release or in the next release.
Very good, very good. Farhana, is that clear?
Yes.
So whenever you create a defect, okay, the manager also will look into that. See, now he understood that it is a valid defect, but he is looking into that whether he has to fix that defect in this release or next release. Assume there are so many defects, they don't have time. Okay, then what he can do, he know that it is a small defect. Okay, if it is a big defect and it has to fix in this release only, then he will fix that. If he thinks that it is a small defect, he can fix that later, no problem. Then he will change the status to deferred. Whenever some defects are in deferred, means it is not rejected or it is not duplicate or it is not an invalid defect. Those are valid defects, but they are going to fix that later, means in next future release. Is that clear? So in scope means in this release, out of scope means in next future releases. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Farhana, Sadiq, is that clear?
Yes.
Yeah, very good. So now the manager understood that it is not a duplicate defect. When it is not a duplicate defect means they have to fix that defect. Then the manager will assign the defect to a specific developer because the manager know which developer is available currently. Okay, which developer can fix the defect. Okay, so he will assign the developer. So he will assign the developer means in this, assume in this stage, what is the status of the defect? Can anybody tell? What is the status of the defect?
New.
How many will tell new? How many will tell the other status?
New for me.
Shravanti is new. Then Ashwini?
New.
It's new.
Okay, Divya? Yeah, okay, fine. Any other? Farhana, Tazeen, Sadiq, what is the status you think will be here?
New.
Farhana, what is the status here?
New.
Okay, now Farhana will explain why it is new. Why it is new? Because Tazinara told new, Shravanti told new, I am also telling new. Now you tell why it is new. See,
Because it is not duplicate, it is already raised. It's not duplicate, so the status will be new.
Because the project manager has gone through all these steps. Yes or no?
Yes.
And it is a valid defect. Then only he saw whether it is in scope or not. Then only he saw whether it is raised or not. So everywhere it was yes, 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 because everything is correct. So then only, because he has not changed any status here. Yes or no? If it is not valid, then only he will change the status from new to rejected. If it is not in scope, then only he will change to status deferred. Here, if it is duplicate, then only he will change to duplicate. Because it is passing everywhere, then it is still here, it is a new only. Okay. So whatever new status you people told, it's correct. Okay. Then now what he will do, till now the defect is new and it is on project manager name. Now, whenever he feels that the defect has to be fixed, then he will change the name from his name to the developer name and change the, and still the status remains new only. Okay. But what is changing? Only the name. The name now, the defect is assigned, means the defect is given to the developer name. Okay. Now the developer will receive an email that the new defect is assigned to you. Then the developer will open and see what is the defect. And then when he starts fixing the defect, then he will change the defects from new to in progress. So whenever you see that a defect is in progress, means the defect is working by some developer. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
So whenever developer start fixing the defect, he will change the status from new to in progress. Okay. Now the developer has fixed the defect. Then he will change the status from in progress to fixed. Whenever the developer has fixed the defect. Once he has fixed the defect, what he will do?
Yeah, then sends to the test.
Once the defect is fixed, what the developer will do?
He release the bill to the tester team.
Farhana, what he will do whenever the developer fix the defect?
Whenever he fixes, if there is no build, then he will release the project. Or else if there is any build, the tester restart restart the code.
See, now he has fixed the defect. Who has fixed the defect?
Developer.
Okay. After fixing the defect, what he will do? What is the next step for developer?
Release the bill to test.
Release.
The defect is assigned fixed status.
Okay, the defect is fixed to status. Fixed. The defect status has changed from in progress to fixed. That is fine. Then what he will do?
Release.
Farhana, what he will do?
Okay.
What the developer will do?
He will release the
What he will release?
build
To whom he will release?
tester.
Why he is releasing to tester?
Why?
Why he is releasing the build?
If there is any defect, then he will release the. He will
Why he is releasing to tester team testing? Why means to test that defect. Okay, you have to tell that. Okay.
Okay.
So who has fixed? Developer has fixed. Then who has to verify the defect? Tester. Yes or no?
Yes.
So he will release the build to the testing team. Why? To do the testing. Simple. Yes or no?
Yes.
Clear. So once you receive a new build, what you will do first? What testing you will do whenever a new build comes?
Sanity testing.
Very good. After sanity testing, what you will do?
Regression.
No, you will verify the defect. Son, no.
Yes.
Before regression, you will verify the defect. Assume you did a regression testing, then you verify the defect, then you came to know that the defect is not fixed. Then whatever time you spent on regression is waste, right? Yes or no?
Yeah.
So first, after sanity, you will verify the defects or the new features which are added. Then only you will do the regression. Is that clear?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Now the defect is fixed. Then what the developer will do? He will change the status from in progress to fixed. Then he will release the defect, release the code, release the build to the testing team. Then the tester will verify the defect is passed or failed. Okay, the defect is really fixed or not. If the defect is fixed, then he will close the defect. Assume still the defect is not fixed, then again he will open because now the status of the defect is fixed. He will reopen the defect and assign back to the same developer. This time he is not assigning the defect to the manager, because the tester know that who has fixed the defect. So he will directly assign the defect to the developer, and he will change the status from fixed to reopen. Is that clear? So now again the developer will look into the defect, again he will fix and send back to the testing team. So this is a cyclic process which happens till the defect is closed. Is that clear? So defect life cycle is clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ashwini, can you explain the defect life cycle?
Yeah. So when the tester finds the defect, he will assign that a defect to the manager. Then the status will be new. Then manager will see if it is a valid defect. If it is yes, then he will see if it is in scope or not. If it is no, then the status will be rejected because it's not a valid defect. If it is a valid defect, then he will see if it is in a scope. If it is not in a scope, then the status will be deferred. If it is in a scope, then he will see if it is already raised or not. If it is already raised, then the status will be duplicate. If it is not already raised, then he will assign that defect to the particular developer. Then developer will see into that defect, and the status will be in progress. Then the developer will fix the defect. He will see and he will fix it, and then the status will be fixed. Then he will release that code to the tester.
Very good.
Test.
Very good.
Then tester will again test it, and then if it is okay, if it is fixed, then the status is closed. If it is not, then again it will reopen, and again the tester will assign that defect to that particular developer.
Very good, very good. Farhana, can you explain?
Yes. When that defect is found by the tester, the status will go to new.
Status will
And
not go. Status will be new.
Status will
because
change. Sorry.
Status will be new.
Okay. Status
See,
will be
go. Will go means someone is sending. Yes or no?
Okay.
Here,
yes,
when you create a defect, by default, the status will be new. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Tell
Status
again.
will be, yeah, when the defect is found by the tester, the status will be new. And then the project, then it goes to the project manager.
It will not
which
go.
analyze-
It will not
It
go.
will be. It will be.
No. Tester is assigning to the project
Okay.
manager. Okay.
Okay.
See.
Tester is
Okay.
yeah.
So you have to
Tester is-
tell, whenever a tester finds a defect, the status of the defect will be new, and the defect is assigned to project manager.
Okay.
See, the status will be by default new. Okay. And the defect has to assign. The defect can't go. Defect has to assign to the project manager. Okay.
Okay.
The status has to change. Okay. But whenever you create a defect, the status by default is a new status. There is nothing to change. Okay. But you have to assign to the project manager. Okay. Can you tell again?
Whenever that defect is found by the tester, the status will be new, and that will be assigned by the project manager.
That
to
will be
analyze
assigned
the
by.
defect.
No. That will be
By-
not assigned by. That will be assigned to.
Okay.
Okay. Repeat
That
again.
will, whenever the defect is found by the tester, the status will be new, and the development manager will analyze the defect.
How will analyze? You have to assign to him, right? Yes or no?
Yeah, whenever the
Okay.
tester assign,
Very good.
then he will analyze the defect. There will be two ways. If the defect is valid, then it will be go to the in scope. If the defect is not valid, the status will be rejected.
Okay.
If it is an in scope, there are two ways again. If If it is released, if it has to be released later, the status will be in deferred.
Mhm.
If it is released, then it is raised.
Okay.
When it is raised, there are two ways. Like the status will be duplicate. If it is
Mhm.
no, the status will be new, and the developer starts fixing the code.
Mhm.
When the developer starts fixing the code, the status will be in progress.
Mhm.
When the developer starts coding it, the status will go to the fixed state.
Mhm. Okay.
When it is fixed, the tester restarts. When it is fixed, the developer will send it to the tester. Then the tester starts the code. If the testing everything goes fine, the status will be closed. And if there is any defect, the status will be reopened.
Okay, fine. Okay. So fine. See, whenever the status is changing, we are changing manually. Okay. Okay. Fine. So you go through the defect lifecycle once again very clearly. Okay. And then you ask any doubts tomorrow. Okay. Fine, right? Fine.
Yes.
So now everyone are clear about this defect lifecycle, right? Are any doubts?
Yes, sir.
See,
Mentioned as development project manager. Do we
yeah,
have only one manager, project manager for both testing side and
yeah,
development?
we can tell like anything, like a project manager or a test lead or development lead. It depends on project to project. Okay. If there is big, it depends on company. Okay, project in that company. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, it depends. So you can tell whatever you want. Whether you can tell a project manager or lead, or if there is only one developer, you can directly assign to the developer. No. So you have to tell only one thing. Clear?
Okay.
Okay, fine. So is that clear to everyone, right?
Yes.
See,
Yes, sir.
when I'm asking question, by listening to your voice only, I can understand you people understood or not. Okay,
Okay.
fine. So now here I have just given small explanation, like same steps, like tester will find the defect, then the status will be new, then the project manager will analyze and decide whether the defect is valid or not. If the defect is not valid, the status is given as rejected. So you people can go through these steps. Okay, so it's the same steps whatever I have explained. Okay, and then these are the statuses, the different status, new, in progress. In interview they may ask what is deferred status, then you should be able to tell what is deferred. Okay, so these are the statuses you can go through. Okay, so if you have any doubts you can ask me. Okay, fine. Is that clear, right? So we will continue with the next topic. The next topic is different test environments. What are the topics? Different
Test environments.
test environments. Okay,
Sir?
see, yeah, yes.
Sir, we have like other status like pending retest, not a bug.
Not a bug means it is rejected.
That okay. But tester will say that it is a bug means like what will we do?
See, so he will reject the defect. Okay, then you will receive an email like one defect is rejected. Then what he will do? He will be quiet or he will go and check why this defect is rejected. Again, he will go and confirm with him, right? Yes or no?
Yes. Yes, sir.
Then again he will confirm. Now assume, now you know that the requirement whatever you have gone through is 2 + 2 is equal to 4. Assume. Okay, but the manager is telling no, Anish, the requirement is 2 + 2 is equal to 3. Then you have to prove him. Yes or no? Then you have to show the requirement to him. Now assume while showing you think that in between the requirement, when you were reading the requirement was 2 + 2 is equal to 4. Assume you went on leave for 1 or 2 days. In between the requirement changed to 2 + 2 is equal to 3, but you don't know the new changes. Yes or no? Then you will now again you will try to open the requirement and see now the requirement is changed. Then you will realize, okay, fine. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now assume the requirement 2 + 2 was 3 before and manager went to leave. Okay, when he came back, the requirement changed to 2 + 2 is equal to 4, but he don't know that. Okay, now he was thinking like 2 + 2 is equal to 3 and and you created a defect, then he told, no, this is correct only. Then you will show him the new requirement. Then he may accept again. You are getting my point?
Yes. Yes.
So whenever some rejection happens, or whenever some duplicate, he makes a defect duplicate, you are going to cross verify why it is rejected, why is duplicate. Okay, fine. Okay. See, now we are going to look into something called test environments. Okay, so we already looked into project environments. Now we are going to look into test environments. There are different test environments where we will be doing testing. Okay, so first environment is called dev environment. What is that? What is that first environment? Dev environment. Dev environment is nothing but where developers will do their testing. So will developers do some testing or not?
Yes.
So what is the name of the testing? What they do?
White box testing.
Unit test.
White box testing.
Unit testing. Unit testing they will do. Sanity testing they will do. See, white box testing they will not do. Okay. White box testing is a type of testing. Okay. Is a method of testing which white box test engineers will do. So developers are not white box test engineers. Okay. Clear?
Okay.
Test engineer who know, who has knowledge on coding is called white box testers. Okay. Okay. Developers will do unit testing. Developers will do integration testing. Developers will do some sanity testing. In which environment they will do? They will do in development environment. Okay. Is that clear? Is that clear?
Yes.
Yeah, very good. See, unit testing they will do in their local laptop. Okay. Interface testing they will do in their local laptop because they are writing the programs in their local laptop. Yes or no? They are creating the interfaces in their local laptop. So unit testing and interface testing, they are testing locally. Okay. When I say locally means in their laptop only, they are writing a program and testing the program, whether it is working or not. Now there are multiple developers. Now what at the end of the day, they will merge all the code. Merge means they will combine all the code. Then that combination is called dev environment. Okay. Is that clear? So in dev environment, the developer will do what testing? Sanity testing. What testing?
Sanity test.
He will not do unit testing because unit testing he will do locally in his laptop, in his code alone. But the sanity testing will be done with all the developers' code combined. Is that clear? So when the sanity testing they will do the sanity testing once all the developers' code is combined, is merged after creating the build, before giving the build to the testing team. Is that clear? So in dev environment, they will do sanity testing. Who is doing sanity testing in dev environment?
Developers.
Clear, clear. Very good. Okay. Is that clear to everyone? Yeah, very good. So now from dev environment, we got the release, we got the new build. So we means testers will receive the new build. Now we also have to do some testing. So we have different environments. Initially, the first environment is ITT or SIT or testing environment. Okay, they called ITT or SIT means system integration testing. Okay, or we'll be telling testing environment. So testing environment means here we are testing each and every functionality, each and every user story. Okay, so here we are testing individually the user stories. That is called int or SIT environment. Okay, or ITT, anything. Okay. So here in this environment, what we are doing, we are testing each and every user story. Yes or no? So first thing what we will do, we will do sanity testing and then we will test each and every user story. Now the next environment is UAT, user acceptance testing environment. So here what we are going to do, we are going to test end-to-end scenarios. What we are going to test? We are going to test end-to-end scenarios. Okay. So is that clear? Dev environment, ITT or SIT environment, UAT environment. So ITT and UAT, these environments belongs to the testing team where we will be doing the testing. In ITT environment, we are going to test bits and pieces, small functionalities. In UAT environment, we are testing together end-to-end scenarios. Okay, clear. Next comes staging or prod-like or pre-production environment. See, this is the environment which will be tested before going to live. When this will be tested? Before going to live, means before going to production, means before going to actual implementation. So this will be also done like beta testing. What testing will be done here?
Beta testing.
We are not going to do this pre-production or staging or prod like, okay? There will be some other team which will be doing. This is a beta testers, okay? Sometime the real product owner will also do some testing here. That is called prod-like environment or pre-production or staging environment. Is that clear? This is the environment which some testing is happening before production. Is that clear?
Yes.
Or there will be some testers who will work with the client, who will work along with the client to do some testing. But here you can test only with real data, some production data. Okay. So in our project, what we do in this prod like or staging environment, in this environment, we can test with only real users, real data. Then what we will do in our bank also, we will be having some bank users, right? Real users. So we will give access to that particular users to this environment, and then we will ask them to test. Okay. So for example, I am having ICICI Bank. I am an ICICI employee. I am having ICICI account. Then I will tell to this person to do some testing in this environment. So we will give only access to specific people in this environment. Okay. Is that clear? Production environment is nothing but the real environment. So all the customers, everyone can use here. So how many environments are there?
5.
What are they?
5.
Dev environment.
Very good.
ITT or SIT.
Very good.
UAT environment.
Very good.
Staging, prod-like or pre-prod environment.
Okay.
Production
environment. Okay. So when you are telling, you can tell only one. Okay. You can tell ITT or SIT, whatever you want. You can tell prod-like or pre-prod. Okay. So in your company, they will call only one name. I'm telling this like in different companies, they may call different names. Okay. So for example, in interviewer may ask you, okay, what is staging environment? Okay. Some may ask what is pre-production. Some may ask prod-like, but they will ask only one. Okay. So but you know all the 3 names, but the definition is same. Okay. Clear? Is that clear to everyone?
Yes,
So
sir.
actually, what is a test environment?
Test, say, that is also a name where some companies, they may call us test environment, where we do the testing.
Okay.
Okay, fine. Is that clear to everyone? Sadiq, Farhana, Tazeen, is that clear?
What does ITT stands for?
It is something like, I also forgot this ITT. I will check and give you the definition. Even if you Google, you will get a ITT, SIT definitions. Okay,
Yes.
fine. So is that clear? Sadiq, Farhana?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, okay, fine. Fine. The next now, we're starting now. How to write the test cases. What? This is important. Huh? How to write the test scenarios, how to write the test cases. Okay, fine. Before this, I would like to tell you something about Jira. Okay. Before this, I would like to tell you something about Jira. Yesterday, we have gone through some Jira, right? Son, now, why we use Jira?
To create the defect.
we use only for create in our project? Why they use Jira? Only for defects or some other purpose also they will create, they will use Jira? What is the other purpose? Saujanya, why we use Jira?
Test management tool.
It is a tool.
Okay, it is a tool. What is the purpose of Jira?
To store test cases.
Along with that,
Test
what you will do?
it.
So Tazin, what is the use of Jira?
It is an agile tool which is used to manage the agile project management.
Okay.
Like tracking the status of the developers, testers, conducting the meetings.
Okay, how will you track the status?
Like all the user stories will be.
Exactly. You have to tell in Jira, the stories are created. Yes or no? We discussed right yesterday. Like user stories are created. Who will create the user stories?
Sir,
Who will create the user story?
business analyst.
Yes, where they will create? Where they will create?
Where means tool? Jira?
Yes, that's it.
Backlogs. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, they will create the stories. All the stories together are called backlogs. Okay. But where they are creating, where they are maintaining everything, that is nothing but the tool Jira. Okay. So for Jira is used for, Jira is used for creating the user stories. Okay. Jira is used to maintain the test cases. Jira is used to create the defects. Yes or no? Jira is used to generate some reports. So what are all you are using the Jira? For what we are using the Jira? What are the purpose?
To create the defect.
Stories
To-
to track
yeah.
the
To maintain the test cases.
First one, to create the user stories. What is the one? First one?
to create the user stories.
See, who is creating is other point. But why we are using Jira? In your interview, they may ask, okay, for what are the purpose you people are using Jira? Okay, then you have to tell, we maintain the user stories. Okay, the user stories are created in Jira. We are maintaining the test cases. We are creating the defects in Jira. We are also generating some reports in the Jira. Okay, so you are using for 4 things. What are the 4 things?
Create the user stories.
Very good.
Maintaining test cases.
Very good.
Write the defects.
Creating the defects, then
Giving the reports.
generating the reports. Okay, is that clear?
Yeah.
So now we will just go through briefly about the Jira tool. Okay, so everyone is clear, right? Why we use Jira? Farhana, why we use Jira?
To create the user stories,
Very good.
to maintain the defects,
Very good.
to analyze,
Very good.
and to detect.
See, we use Jira for 4 things. How many things?
4 things.
Okay, what is the first one? First one is
To
creating
create
user stories.
user stories.
Second one is creating test cases. What is the second one?
To create the test cases.
What is the third one? Creating the defects. What?
Creating the defects.
What is the fourth one? Generating
Analyze.
reports. What?
Generate.
Can you repeat?
Yes. To create the user stories.
Very good. Then fine, there is some network problem. Okay, fine, right? so Jira, it is most widely used project management tool in market. It is developed by Australian company in 2002. Okay, so Jira is a agile methodology. Jira is a tool used in a agile methodology.
Hello.
Yeah, yes, fine. So I'm just explaining now the Jira. Okay, so Jira is used for agile methodology. So now, whenever you take a software project, okay, whenever you take a software project, now we are going to look how the user stories are created. Okay, assume now we are having a software project. Okay, they will create the project into epics or features. Okay, what is epic? What is feature? For example, we are having Amazon.com application. Okay, in the Amazon.com application, we are having small font functionalities, like we told, like modules, right? What are modules? Can anybody tell what are the modules in Amazon application? What are the modules?
Payment.
Mm-hmm.
Login module, search
good.
module.
Very good. Yeah. Divya, you were telling something. Saujanya, tell.
I have told only like login module.
Login module. Okay. Saujanya, what?
Payment module.
Okay. Shravanti.
Add to cart.
Add to cart. Very good. Ashwini.
To search for any
That's
particular.
very good. So these are all the modules. Yes or no? Again, for example, if you take a payment module, okay. If you take payment module, what are all the things available in the payment module? What are the functionalities?
To pay through delivery, cash on delivery.
See, again, when we talk about payment, they'll be different. Like you can pay money using phone pay or Google Pay or UPI or net banking or with your ATM card or cash on delivery. Yes or no? These are all different ways of payment. Yes or no?
Yeah.
So assume now when you say modules means nothing but it is a feature of that application. Yes or no? You will tell my Amazon has a payment feature. Amazon has a add to cart feature. Yes or no? Some companies they call features, some companies call epics. So the whole project is divided into features or epics. What?
Features or
The whole project is divided into
features or epics.
okay. Okay. So features and epics are nothing but modules. What?
Modules.
And every feature or every epic are divided into user stories. What?
Every feature or epic is divided into user stories.
Exactly. For example, now you were telling payment is a module. Okay, module is nothing but a feature. Feature is nothing but a epic. Okay, so payment is an epic. Yes or no? Payment module is an epic. So now this payment module is divided into okay.
It's not audible.
Your voice is not audible.
Okay, now is it audible?
Yeah.
Okay. See, when for 1 second my voice is not audible, you people are telling, hey, your voice is not audible. The same way, when I am asking question to you, if I don't hear some voice, I also feel the same. Okay. Clear?
Sir.
Yes or no? So now how you are feeling, in the same way I will also feel whenever I'm not getting reply from you people. Okay. When I'm asking, if there are 8 people, I will expect reply from 8 people. If 1 or 2 people are not replying, then I will think that they are not understanding. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So whoever is possible, please try to answer to my questions. Okay. Very good. Fine. See, why I take my sessions with limited people means to have interactive sessions. If I have more people, then I can't interact with each and every person. It's not possible for me to ask every person. Okay. So I will take my sessions, trainings only with a limited people to have interaction sessions. Okay, interactive sessions. Fine. So now payment module is a, so my business analyst create a epic called payment epic. And now they create all the user stories related to that epic. For example, a user story, phone pay, payment through phone pay, one user story. Payment through Google Pay, one more user story. Payment through you can have net banking, one user story. Payment through cash, that is one. So Now you understand what is user story. Small functionalities are user stories. All together, all these user stories, once all these user stories are developed, tested, then only the payment module is ready. The payment epic is ready. So no.
Yes,
Yes.
sir.
So now when we talk about login module, login epic, then username is one user story, password is one user story, forget password is one user story. Okay. Create account is one user story. When all these are created, so all the user stories which belongs to that epic is completed, then only that epic is completed. Yes or no? When all the epics which are related to that project is completed, then only that project is completed. Yes or no? When the Amazon.com is ready, when login epic is ready, when payment epic is ready, when search epic is ready. So when the login epic will be ready, when the user stories belongs to that epic is ready. Yes or no? So all the user stories. So user stories is nothing but a small part, small functionality. Okay. So when all the functionality is related to each and every epic is completed, and all the epics related to the application is completed, then only the project is ready. Okay. Clear?
Yes.
Very good. So now we will go through some examples. Okay. So I'm just explaining this Jira so that you will understand what is the Jira tool, how it is, how the stories are created. You are not creating, but I'm just explaining you so that you can imagine something. Okay. To get some real-time knowledge. Okay. So now assume you take a online grocery application. So you are having login module, like login feature, like login epic, products epic, add to cart, payment, feedback, promotions. These are different epics. And every epic, when you talk about login, okay, so it can be like, so in some companies, they may directly create as login epic, or in some companies, they will tell login feature, and then again, they'll divide this feature to epics. Okay, for example, in my company, they call login module not directly an epic, because again, they have sub modules for that. So they call as feature, login feature. And then again, that feature is divided into epic like admin and end users. Again, that admin is divided into user stories. So once all these user stories are created, then only this epic will be done. When all the epics related to this feature will be completed, then only this feature will be ready. Is that clear?
I have a question.
Mhm.
Feature and epic, they are same or there is some difference
It
between?
depends on company to company. Okay. So one company says feature and epic is same. Okay. Then they will directly create the user stories from the feature. Some companies say feature is different and epic is different. Okay. So what they will do, they will divide this login module to different epics. So it depends on business analyst to analyst, no problem. Okay. But ultimately, what we have to understand is, we have to understand that what is user story. So when all these user stories are created, developed, then only this epic is developed. So now when you are learning, you can choose a way where your company is following feature and epic, or they're following only epics and user stories. Anything you can follow. Okay. You can tell, in my project, we are having epics, and then all the user stories are linked to epics. Or you may tell, in my project, they are following features, and epics are derived from that features, and user stories are derived from that epics. Anything you can tell. Okay. So we will tell that we are having feature called login module. Okay. And again, the login module is divided into different epics. For example, admin login module and end user customer login module. Okay. Again, the admin, whenever we talk about admin, what admin can do, we can create an account for admin. We can update the details of the admin. Either we can disable or enable account for the admin, or also we can do forget password. Yes or no? In the same way, the same user stories will be, but it will be for different role. The role is now customer. So we can create an account. We can update the details. We can enable or disable the account. We can do the forget password for the customer. So it's the same, but it depends. So what you can do, you can tell either you have feature and epics are from the future, or you can tell directly we are having epics. No problem. Okay, is that clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, Farhana, Sadiq, is that clear?
Yes.
Yeah, okay, fine. Fine. So now we know that how the user story, what is user story?
Small function now.
User story is nothing but small functionalities. Okay. So when an epic will be completed, when you say that this epic is completed, when
All the functionalities
All the
are
user stories are
all the
completed
user
when
stories related to this epic are completed, then only we will say that this epic is completed. Is it clear?
Yeah.
When this project will be completed?
Epic and future.
When all the epics related to are completed, then only you say that the project is completed. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When this epic will be completed? When the related stories are completed. Assume even if one story is not completed, the epic is not complete. Means project is not complete. Yes or no? Very good. So now we'll go look into some other example. Like for example, college management application. We are having different epics or features like attendance, finance, transport, inquiry, admission, contact. So these are different modules, means different features, means different epics. Okay. So now, if you see, for example, attendance, so they can have epic called attendance, or they can have epic as students epic and teaching and non-teaching staff epic. Okay. Yes or no? And then link to the feature, anything we can have. Now the user stories like adding students attendance, update students attendance, download student attendance. These are all small functionalities which are linked to the epic. So when this epic will be completed? When all the stories are completed. Okay. When my application will be ready? When all the epics related to the application are ready. Is that clear?
Yes.
Yes.
So this is the user story. Okay. So user story, who will create? The business analyst will create. How they will create? They will follow some standards how to create. So this is how. So they will be creating the user story in this way. Okay. You can just go through this point. Is that clear? Is that clear? Now you got an idea of Jira, what Jira contains, how the user stories are derived. Is that clear to everyone?
Yes.
Yeah, very good. I will share that document after this session. You can go through that, but don't spend more time. It's not required because you have to just understand. Okay. So in interview, they may ask only one thing: why you are using Jira? What is the purpose? What is the reason? They will not ask you how the user stories are written because that is not your job. Okay, so they will ask why you are using, to know for what are all purpose you are using Jira. That's it. Okay. So for what are all the purpose you are using Farhana?
to create user stories,
Very good.
to create test cases,
Very good.
to generate the defect,
See, after creating test cases, before generating defects, in between, what you will do? See, you are creating test cases, you are creating defects. Okay. In between, what step you will do? Sadiq, what step you will do before, in between test cases and defect creation? What step you will do?
Generating the reports.
Ah, super, Sadiq. See, Tajinara, before, in between test cases and defects, what step you will do? See, this question is not related to Jira. Okay, I'm asking in general, between test cases and defect, what step you will do?
We'll execute the test cases.
Yes or no? After executing only, you came up with the defects. Yes or no?
Yes.
See, because interviewer may ask you any question. He may not ask you directly. Okay. When you are very good in concept, then only you will be able to answer the concepts, even though he's asking direct questions or indirect questions. We don't know how the interviewer will ask. So, no. So we should be prepared. Okay. Okay. Clear. See, when I'm asking questions, when you people are not telling, you should not feel any bad. Okay. No problem at all. Okay. Because if you're unable to tell, you will learn. Okay. So you should not feel any bad that okay, the trainer is asking me more questions. I'm unable to. You should not feel any bad at all, because we all are now learning in learning phase. Okay. If you learn more, to whom it is benefit? Yeah. Yes. Yeah. Tell me. Somebody will ask.
Anis, I didn't understand your last question. What you asked?
See, my last question was, what step is in between writing the test cases and creation of defect? What step is in between? What is the step is between test cases and defects? In between what you are doing?
Yeah, I mean, I know the answer, but I didn't understand what exactly.
What is the answer?
To execute the test cases.
Yes. Okay. Clear. So I was just asking in bit, just indirect question. Okay.
Okay.
Fine, right? Is that clear to everyone, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. So now we are going to look into some how to write test scenarios, how to write test cases. Okay. And then I will just explain this and I will stop. So tomorrow I will explain different techniques of test cases, and then I will give you a small scenario, and then you can write some test cases. Okay. Fine.
Okay.
So first one, what is test scenario? First of all, you tell what is test case. What is test case, you tell?
It is the steps
Part of
which
test
we create.
idea.
Sorry, Ashwini, you tell.
It is the steps which we create normally.
Correct. Correct. For example, if you want to do ATM money withdraw, what are the steps you do?
First, we will, I mean, log in or click. Then
You will log into ATM.
Log into ATM.
You want to withdraw. You want to withdraw cash. Then what you will do? What are the steps you will do? Tell me. Now you are in home. Okay. Now you want to withdraw money. Then what are the steps you will do? For example, you see whatever. For example, you want to give instructions to your son to go and withdraw money and come back to home. Whatever steps you do, your son will do the same. Okay. Now you tell me what are the steps he will do. You will tell to him. I'm going to write the steps, whatever you are telling. Okay.
Okay.
Wait 1 minute. Not bad. Okay. Tell me, what is the first step?
First, I will tell him which is the nearest ATM center for us. So
Nearest
to
ATM.
go there.
Okay. Then center and go there. Okay.
Yeah.
Then.
Then there will be some options on ATM. In that, you choose the option withdrawal money.
Okay. Okay.
Or maybe before that, here you have to choose the language English here to do it.
Okay. Okay. Then.
And then to withdrawal, maybe after that there will be the option where we have to put our password.
Okay.
So we have,
Then.
Password. Then we have to select the amount, which amount we want.
Okay.
And then we have to click I mean, yes, okay or something where the money comes.
Then.
Yeah, and then we have to collect the money which it has came out, and we have to check whether it is a correct amount or not.
Okay, check the amount. Okay.
And then come back to the home.
Come back home. So now if you come back home, again you will send your son back to the bank. Why you tell?
Yes, to collect the card, ATM
Because
card.
you have not informed him to collect the card. Yes or no?
Yeah.
If you don't collect the card, then again he has to go to bank this time. Yes or no?
Yeah.
So see, so these are the steps. These are nothing but test cases. You are getting my point, everyone. Is that clear for everyone? Okay. See, here she has not told insert the ATM card. Without inserting ATM card, how will you withdraw? Because your son is going to do the steps, whatever you tell. Yes or no? So you are telling, go to this ATM center, he will go. Okay. After going to there, you have to tell him to insert the ATM in the machine. Yes or no? Without inserting, he can't choose the option money withdraw. Yes or no?
Yes.
So he has to insert the ATM card, and then he has to choose the language. Very good. And then he has to choose the option withdraw, and then he has to enter the ATM pin. Okay. And then he has to enter the amount, and then he has to click on OK, and then he has to collect the money, and then he has to check the amount, and then he has to come back. Before that, after clicking on OK, he has to collect the ATM card also. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Is that clear? And also, when he is entering the password, he has to enter the valid password, correct password. That is important.
Yeah.
You have to tell him the password also, right? Yes or no?
Yes.
So whatever steps we are writing, these are all called the test cases. Sorry, test steps. What are these called? Test steps. So what is your test case? Money withdrawal. What is the test case?
Money.
Money withdraw. So now you tell me what is the test case. That is nothing but it is the idea. What is the idea of a test engineer? The test case is nothing but idea of a test engineer. Yes or no? So now Ashwini is a test engineer. So this is the idea of her. Yes or no? Whenever we are testing the application, we will write the test cases. We are writing the test cases. How we are writing? The idea. How to test the application. Yes or no? Test case is nothing but an idea of a test engineer. Okay. So how good our ideas are there, that much test cases will come up. That much good will test the application. Okay. You agree or not? So simple. What is test case means? Nothing. Test case is idea of a test engineer. We are going to come up with some ideas how to test the application. How we are getting the ideas? After going through the requirement. After going to the requirement, after understanding the requirement clearly, we will get multiple ideas. Okay. See now, for example, if you take Google Map, okay, Google Map search. If you, for example, if you type in Google how to go from Amirpet to Secunderabad, okay. So if you open Google Map and type your location is Amirpet in Hyderabad and 2 is Secunderabad in Hyderabad, or if you type any area from one place to one place, then what the Google Map will tell?
Is the directions.
Tell directions and the time taken with the different transports.
See, okay. So now it is telling the time taken by different transport. Yes or no?
Yeah.
So now even in different transport, it will give only one transport or different transport ways.
Different transport.
If you select, for example, if you select you want to go by bus, it will give you only one bus details or it will give multiple bus details.
One bus details.
Huh?
One bus details.
See, from one place to one place, only one bus may go, or you may change the buses also on the go.
You can change the bus, multiple buses.
Okay. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Yeah. So now, for example, when I am doing Google search, I am getting like 10F, 10H. Okay, I'm getting different buses. Okay. So if I catch one bus also, I will go. Even if I catch other bus also, I will go. But the direction may change. Yes or no? And also, when you click on one bus, okay, they will be giving each step where you have to go, where you have to catch bus, where you have to get down, from where you have to go by walk, again from where you have to catch different bus. Somehow, this is how we go to some new places using Google Maps, right?
Voice is very low.
Okay, now is it clear?
Yes.
Yeah.
See, in Google Maps, it will give, right, where you have to go, which bus you have to catch, where you have to get down, from there how to go to that place, or again if you want to catch the bus, again from that place to other place, how you have to go, in which direction you have to go. This all Google Maps gives, right?
Yes.
All the direction. Yes or no? So these are all test steps you consider. Yes or no?
Mm-hmm.
These are the steps. If the Google is giving wrong step, will you be able to go to the destination correctly?
No.
No. So Google is giving you the clear steps. Okay. In the same way, when you are testing some application, you have to come up with clear steps. Okay. Even if you don't mention one step, then you can't test that application. Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
there are three things: test scenario, test cases, and then test steps. Test scenario means test scenario contains multiple test cases. What? Test scenario contains?
Multiple test cases.
test cases.
And each test case contains multiple test steps. What a test scenario contains?
Multiple test cases.
Okay, what a test case contains?
Multiple test steps.
Exactly. Okay, so tomorrow we will look what is test scenario, what is test case, how to write test case, what are the techniques we have to follow to write test case. Okay. And
Okay.
also we will discuss some requirement. I will give you one requirement. You can write that basic test case for that. Clear?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. And you make sure that by this Friday, we are finishing the manual testing. From next Monday, we are starting the Java. Okay. Clear? Okay. Because the heart of the testing is only these test cases. The simple test case is nothing. See, now what are the test steps? What Ashwini told? The same thing. What we are going to test, how we are going to test is the thing. The test steps, test cases, everything. Okay. So we will look into that tomorrow. It will be very interesting. Okay. So you have just to remember, test scenario is nothing but group of test cases form a test scenario. Group of test steps form a test case. That's it. Okay.
Okay.
Fine. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Then you people go through till whatever we have learned till now. So that because once Java is started, you may not find more time to go through the manual. Okay. So you people spend time now only to read the manual, because once the Java is started, Java is new to everyone. Yes or no? So at least this is theory. You will understand very easily because it's just a general common English language. So you all understand. But when we start learning Java, it is a new language, Java language. So you need some more effort to understand each concept. You have to practice more to get very good knowledge on Java. Okay. See, I'm not saying it is difficult. I'm saying easy. But when you understand the concept, when you practice, then only you'll feel easy. Okay. See, whenever you are learning cycle, you may fall. If you leave learning because you are afraid that you are falling, then you can't learn cycling. Yes or no? Then what you will tell? When your baby is walking, he may fall first time. Okay. If you are afraid and you are not allowing him to walk, will he learn to walk? No. What you will tell? You will tell, hey, no problem. You will fall first time. Then again, you will allow him to walk. Slowly, he will learn how to walk. Then he will learn how to run. If you are stopping him in the first stage, if you are giving a fright to him, hey, if you walk, you will fall, don't walk. Will he start walking? He will learn walking. No, right? Then what you will tell? When he is falling, you will allow him to stand up. Then again, he will start walking. In the same way, when you are learning some new things, it will feel difficult at the first time. You should not be afraid, because nothing is possible. Nothing is impossible. Everything is possible. But we have to take out time. We have to show our interest. We have to practice. Then only it's possible. Okay. Fine. So everyone have to take out time, how to practice, how to spend time. have to put more effort to learn things because we are learning these things for the first time. Okay, it will be difficult. Okay, fine, right? We'll stop the session.
Yeah. Okay.